Hooray!
How many of you set up an alarm clock for the morning? Almost everyone. Trivial question, isn't it? Unless you have an exceptional biological clock, an alarm is an essential. And for people like me, at least 5 alarms are essential. Snooze is my favorite word in the English language. But have you thought about it? What is an alarm clock? Is it a tool that forces you to get going every day? No. Because when it beeps, it is entirely your choice whether to do a somersault out of the bed or go back to your fantasy dream world. An alarm clock is merely a nudging tool that nudges you to wake up. So what are these nudges? Nudges are policies, decisions, or interventions that use behavioral science to steer people in a particular direction. Nudging relies on subtle psychological steps to guide human beings to make choices that are better for themselves or for the society in the long run. Governments all across the globe are nudging people to become better citizens. Let's see some of the examples. In my home country, India, our state government recently drew 3D prints on road near pedestrian crossings. This 3D print would nudge people to slow down their vehicles. Because whenever a person would approach that particular 3D artwork, he or she would perceive as if there's an object or a speed bump laid on the road. Aren't these nudges way better than some of those packed braking speed bumps? Some of the speed bumps in India are so big, you would feel as if you were driving over a whale. Iceland did similar 3D prints on road. Let's look at Singapore. Singapore achieved tremendous economic success in the last 50 years. And a large part of that success has been attributed to the nudges implemented by its government. A few years back, Singapore's government started publishing neighbors' energy consumption into any customer's bill. Not only this, it also started publishing average household data. This was a silent way to nudge people into energy conservation. Because any person, when he or she will see an inflated bill compared to his neighbor or compared to the average household, he will be inclined to reduce his own energy consumption. Nudges are everywhere, even in toilets. Often, men have a bad habit of missing targets in toilets, which leads to spoiled toilets, messy surroundings, and requirement for frequent cleaning. So what do? An Amsterdam airport printed a fly in the toilet bowl. Result, men's target improved. Not a fan of this design, but yes, it was a nudge. So we also have this problem sometimes when people don't flush their toilets properly. There's an opportunity to nudge there. Maybe you can put up a picture or an item on the flush handle that nudges people to tap it again and again. Maybe you can put a red eject button. Who doesn't like to press that eject button on the flush handle? And that can ensure that your toilets stay clean. Manufacturing units use nudges all the time to make their employees follow safe operating practices. They do so by using safety posters and motivational quotes. Even restaurant owners do this. Whenever you walk to a restaurant and you see that there's a billboard stating the amount of food waste generated previous day, it nudges you to generate less food waste today. Whenever someone sends you an email and writes "going green" in that email, it nudges you to avoid printing it. Now most of us, every year, promise ourselves that we would eat a healthier diet and exercise more. And yet, 1/3 of American adults are obese with a medical price tag approaching $150 billion annually. So what do you do if you have to convince yourself or your kid to eat a more healthier diet? Well, you can use nudges to aid you in this struggle. Let me share a personal story. My mother for years kept on scolding me to eat more fruits and nuts and less chocolates. But I absolutely hated those bland fruit and nuts that gave no pleasure in eating. I never followed her. One day, she brought a transparent chocolate box and she placed these fruit and nuts in that box that we got for Diwali. And she placed that near a shelf where we kept all the snacks. 2 months after placing that box, I ate more fruits and nuts in that 2 months period compared to what I did in 2 years before that. That mere placement of the transparent box turned out to be a strong nudge. Corporate companies use nudges all the time. They use it extensively. Before 2006, most of the companies in the United States asked employees whether they wanted to contribute in a retirement savings plan. But after 2006, after a change in the law for the retirement savings plan known as the 401k, a lot of companies changed it to automatic enrollment. They made people enroll automatically and they gave them the freedom whether they wanted to opt out of this retirement savings plan or even reduce or increase the rate of their contribution to the retirement savings plan. Just by changing that decision to automatic enrollment, the enrollment rate spiked. So what does all these mean to us? How can we make use of these? Well, some of the people can use it to improve their targets. And some people like me can use it to shed 20 years of accumulated fat. But we can use nudges in our day-to-day life in following 3 ways. First, change the defaults. Before making any person take a decision, ask yourself, what is the default option you're offering to that person? For example, imagine if you push the print button on your computer and the default option is set as print to PDF. Imagine if the person toggles it and goes for the actual print, the default option is set as print both-sided. Just by toggling this default option, you can nudge people into paper conservation. My previous employer, Oil and Natural Gas Corporation, used a similar nudge. During an emergency flood situation, it wanted its employees to contribute for a relief fund, which was run by the government. So what it did was that it triggered an automatic salary deduction notification, and it gave its employees 2 weeks of time to opt out of it. But a vast majority of employees contributed to that donation because the inertia took them away from clicking that no, and even they would have this guilt of clicking the no button. Now, if the company had asked for voluntary contribution from employees, the donation amount had been way lower. Just by shifting that default, it made a huge impact. Second, show the way. If you want to encourage someone in taking up certain action, show that person how he or she can do it, or ask him certain questions that how is he going to accomplish that task. A few years back, a Harvard University professor, Todd Rogers, conducted a survey during the elections. He asked a certain group of voters that how are they going to travel to the voting booth? What are the activities they would be doing beforehand? And he found out that when he asked these questions to a particular control group, the voting rate went by 4%. Those planning questions that he asked created a trigger point in the minds of people so that they remembered on the day of elections that they planned for these elections and now they had to go BCG wanted to improve its culture on work-life balance side. Many of its employees had a habit of sending emails late nights or on weekends. So it came out with this nice nudge notification. Whenever an employee was trying to send an email outside of working hours, it would trigger this notification and nudge employees to delay sending that email. Remember, BCG gave complete freedom to its employees to go and shoot that email, but the nudge will simply reduce the frequency of non-essential emails. So, if you want someone to participate in a community service activity, go and ask him the question, how is he going to reach to that place? What help they might need? How can you organize certain things that can help them during the event? Or you can nudge people in a subtle way. Let's say you're an owner of a restaurant, of a health food store, or you're chairing a government body that looks after health division and you want people to follow a healthier diet. How can you nudge them? And one of the ways can be by putting huge signs showing calories against each food item. People would be nudged to pick up more healthier options rather than cheaper or branded ones. Third, and the most important, use nudges to induce positivity. Let's see how. How many of you know the name Adolf Hitler? Stupid question, isn't it? But how many of you know the name Irina Sendler? 1, 2, just 2 in the room. Irina Sendler was a person who saved over 2,500 Jewish children during the Holocaust. My point is that world has a habit of remembering more negatives, more nefarious names and incidences. And our 24/7 media promotes this all the time. This is not surprising though, because human brains are wired to see negativity. The Harvard Business Research proves that. Our genes were manufactured that way so that we can detect threats and dangers quickly. If that did not happen, many of our gene pools would have been wiped off many years ago by the wild animals. But there's no threat or danger of that kind now. We don't need that. And that's why in your day-to-day work, try to reframe, reorient, or rephrase words or actions so that it leaves a more positive and sustainable imprint in people's mind. Let's see how we can do that through an example. We regret to inform you that we cannot process your application to register your business name since you have neglected to provide sufficient information. Please complete all sections of the attached form and return it to us. Slightly rude. Now let's check another version of the same text. Congratulations on your new business. To register your business name, we need some additional information. If you return the attached form with highlighted areas filled in, we'll be able to send your business registration certificate within 2 weeks. We wish you success in your future. Same meaning and yet a much more positive impact. Before you make any business decision, before you design any product, before you run any marketing campaign, think about it, how you can discover, transform, and impact in a much more positive manner. So to summarize, use nudges in 3 ways. First, change the defaults, show the way, and induce positivity. Try to use nudges in your day-to-day life so that the world remembers more of someone like Irina Sendler rather than someone less. Thank you.